stress,
high blood
high
pressure,
cholesterol,
diabetes,
starve. It's time to learn how to take care of God's temple with Henrines Healthy Health Tip on Sunday Morning Sounds with Les on TCMRadiostation.com. So without further delay, here's Henrine.
Oh, my back! My aching back! I am so sorry. For I know there are many who suffer with this challenge of back pain. Please forgive me. This early in the morning, Henrine, you're screeching. I am so sorry. But how many of you have heard that sound? Or have you yourself experienced the sharp, griping, cutting, biting, grinding intensity of back pain? I am so sure that there are many. What I'd like to bring to you today is dehydration. Could it be that you're just truly dehydrated and just need to drink some water? Dehydration in itself is a condition that occurs when there is a loss of body fluids, and it's mostly water. It's when the body functions require a greater reservoir for the uptakes or the things that it needs to do, and that ratio is greater than what has been consumed throughout the day. Very important that we hydrate our bodies and consume the water. So simple. Water, like that of air, is so abundant, but water is the most abundant natural resource. But if we neglect to drink it and not make it a priority to consume it daily, the body will begin to talk to us. It will begin to make manifest pain and trauma and tumult and turmoil in our spine. There is no shortage of water in the earth, but when we make it a shortage on the internal operations, it begins to provoke debility and infirmity. Scarcity of water, fresh water on the inside of the body, has become a very real debate for many people. They challenge its authenticity, but I promise you, it is much needed. It's a survival tool. As I said, there is a real relationship between dehydration and back pain. Many people don't really understand that it is a very direct impact on our health. And it plays a major role in dealing with the back and the spinal cord, or the circle of life. The effects of lack in the water will begin to provoke many onslaught of challenges by way of mobility and stagnation and just being able to move. It can bring the body to a place of paralysis. So what I'd like to do here is give you a little anatomy, not a lot, but just for your understanding to help. Between every vertebrae is a disc. The disc in and of itself contains two parts, an outer layer and an inner layer. The outer layer is like that of gel, and the inner layer is primarily water. The disc is in place to be our shock absorbers, if you will, much like, brake pads. Throughout the day, gravity begins to play a major role as we stand, as we move, as we push, as we pull, whatever it is that we need to do throughout the day. The impact is felt on the internal spine, okay? In our upright position, like walking, the discs are stacked on one another, and they begin to squeeze water out of the rings as they are upright. And then at night, while we are sleeping, the water that we have consumed in the day begins to refill itself into the discs so that we can have our mobility for the next day. Repeating the processes over and over and over for our day springs. This is why it's so important that there is a delicate balance in the system by way of the uptake of water that occurs through the night. The body heals through the night. But during the day, the discs need to be rehydrated, guys. And it can only hydrate when there is sufficient intake of fluids in the reservoirs for the body to pull from. If these discs cannot rehydrate properly itself, then the other disc begins to pull on the inner disc that holds the water. Okay? And it's an opposition, it's a turmoil, it's a tumult that's going on the inside of the body, a pulling effect. This opposition begins to create many of the debility that others are dealing with throughout the day. The pain, the swelling, the ruptures, and for many, it has become a place of trauma constantly with herniation to the outer ring. Our body is designed in such a way that the inner disc that holds the water bears the heavier load so that debility does not occur. When the inner portion does not have the amount of water that it needs and it becomes dehydrated, pain can begin. It is so very important that we make sure to get enough daily intake of water to prevent stagnation, to prevent the alignment, the divine alignment from the crown of our head to the soles of our feet. There is a basic guideline that most people speak of, which is 8 ounces or half the body weight in ounces for drinking. But still, some people suffer even though they are drinking the water. There is a measure of absorption that is not taking place, and we'll speak about that later. Lack of hydration can begin to affect every part of life, guys. So we really have to make an effort. We really have to go after and make a conscious decision of heart to make a significant move towards drinking water, good water, purified water for our health and well-being. Exercise by way of the neck is very important. The movement in the neck in itself ensures that the water is flowing properly into the discs. If we go too long without proper hydration, mobility and paralysis can set in. I'm sure you've seen the hand on the hip, the slight bend forward, and the lack of mobility. The body starts talking. Can it be that simple? A little more water? It's different for everyone, but we must go after the delicate balance of bringing the body back. Our spine is the tree, and it must have divine alignment. Impairments can come by way of injury, we realize that, but be advised to drink to your thirst. It's the best indicator. The discs I like to think of like our inner man. If our inner man is not watered daily, decline and debility in our spiritual walk can be inevitable. I pray that you will thirst after righteousness like never before, even as the deer has panted after the water brook. I pray that your soul shall longeth after him. This is Henrine McCullum. It has truly been a pleasure, and I am found in his service at stillstanding3@yahoo.com. Know that it has truly been a pleasure. Drink to your field. Have an amazing day.
You've been listening to Henrines Healthy Health Tip. Make sure to join in next week as we continue to learn how to take care of God's temple on TCMradiostation.com, where ministry and music meets demand.